Is Russia about to launch a major offensive as Ukraine struggles?
While diplomatic efforts have reached a stalemate, the battlefield is heating up day by day. Ukraine is entering its most difficult phase since the summer of last year, as Russia is believed to be preparing for major offensives along the northern and eastern front lines. Since the beginning of 2025, news about the war in Ukraine has seemed to fade from global media, giving way to peace negotiation efforts led by US President Donald Trump. However, on the front lines, Russia has continued its daily attacks on Ukrainian positions. In March, Russian forces nearly recaptured all the territories in the Kursk region that had been under Ukrainian control since August 2024. Despite a chaotic retreat, Ukrainian forces managed to establish defensive positions and launched a small-scale offensive into Russian territory in the Belgorod region. According to the Kyiv Independent, Ukraine's success in stabilizing the front lines during the winter was one of its most significant efforts. From summer to late fall of 2024, Russia continued to seize more territory, peaking in November when it took control of the city of Vuhledar and forced Ukraine to retreat from Kharkiv. Entering the new year, Russia was unable to directly break through into Pokrovsk as it had done in Toretsk and Chasiv Yar. So it switched to a flanking tactic, advancing toward Mirnohrad and coming within about 5 kilometers of the Dnipropetrovsk regional border. However, thanks to strong defensive efforts, Ukraine managed to halt the offensive in February and even launched effective counterattacks. High casualties may have caused Russia to pause for force repositioning, said John Hardy, Deputy Director of the Russia Program at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, USA. However, Russia continues to recruit at a steady pace, so in the long term, manpower won't be an issue. In areas where Ukraine has thinner defensive deployments, Russia has expanded its bridgeheads, such as along the Oskil River, North Kharkiv, and the Jerebets River, near Luhansk, raising concerns about larger-scale attacks. According to Finnish military expert Emil Kastahelmi, Russia may continue concentrating its forces in the Donetsk region, including efforts to take control of the cities of Pokrovsk, Kostiantynivka and Toretsk, and could even approach Kramatorsk later this year. The city of Pokrovsk has remained a focal point for months. Although Russia has yet to achieve a breakthrough, it continues to intensify its assaults. The Ukrainian military claims to have repelled these attacks, including a battle in Andriivka in early April, where Russia reportedly suffered the loss of dozens of soldiers, 11 armored vehicles, and 3 tanks. Beyond the fighting in Donetsk, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned that Russia may open a new front along the northern border to force Ukraine to spread its forces thin, similar to the strategy used during the attack on the Kharkiv region in May 2024. Although that operation failed to achieve major strategic objectives, it did force Ukraine to redeploy elite brigades from the east. According to John Hardy, Russia will likely have to choose between Pokrovsk and other offensive directions, as it cannot maintain high-intensity operations in multiple areas simultaneously. Pokrovsk has been Russia's main effort over the past year and will likely remain the focal point, he said. This year's spring campaign is expected to witness an unprecedented intensity in the use of unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs. Both sides now possess the capability to monitor and strike targets up to 10 kilometers behind enemy lines, making troop movements extremely difficult. Although electronic warfare systems have helped reduce damage to military vehicles, the widespread use of suicide drones equipped with fiber optic cables has rendered many traditional UAV countermeasures ineffective. Kastahelmi observed, mass troop concentrations have become extremely dangerous in today's UAV-dominated battlefield environment, forcing Russia to constantly disperse its assault forces. Meanwhile, Ukrainian soldiers often hold their positions in various areas, despite Russian advances on both flanks, making their supply routes increasingly vulnerable to attacks. Ultimately, manpower remains the decisive factor. It is still unclear whether Russia can launch breakthrough offensives like last year. As for Ukraine, it will continue to grapple with a shortage of frontline personnel. I don't believe Russia will achieve a lightning-fast advance. They've never demonstrated the capability for a large-scale breakthrough, and that's unlikely to change this year, said Mr. Hardy. However, if Russia continues to apply multi-directional pressure, forcing Ukraine to stretch its forces across numerous fronts, Kyiv will eventually show vulnerabilities, especially in the absence of sufficient support.